Good morning. The time is now 9:04 on Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, and we are welcome to the 9 a.m. regular meeting of the Los Angeles Unified School District Board of Education. As I said, it's now 9:04. I'm going to go ahead and take roll. Ms. Newbill.
Present.
Dr. Rivas.
Present.
Mr. Melvoin. Ms. Griego. Ms. Gomez. Ms. Ortiz-Franklin.
Present.
Right, Ms. Ortiz-Franklin is here via Zoom. And Board President Schmerelson.
Present.
That's 4, so we have a quorum. I'm going to go ahead and read the purpose and authority for the items that will be heard in closed session. Then we will take public comment on item-specific closed session, and then we will take general public comment. So here we go. Under Tab 1, Student Discipline Matters, pursuant to Education Code Section 48918. Tab 2, Personnel, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. They'll be hearing Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release. And under Public Employment, for Chief Procurement Officer, Director of Facilities Project Execution, and Director of Budget Services and Financial Planning. And then lastly, under Tab 2, Personnel, the Superintendent's Evaluation. Under Tab 3, Conference with Legal Counsel. Pending litigation will be heard under Government Code Section 54956.9D1. I'm going to read the case names. The case numbers are located on our website if you'd like to go look them up using the Los Angeles Superior Court online web portal. You'll need the case number, which we have on our website, and it's listed on our order of business. So there's John Doe v. LAUSD et al., John R.J. Doe v. LAUSD et al., Jane C.R. Doe v. LAUSD et al., Jane M.R. Doe v. LAUSD et al., and Kristen Mitchell et al. v. LAUSD et al. And under anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, there are 2 cases that will be discussed. Tab 4, Conference with Labor Negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6. The following organizations may be discussed: Associated Administrators of Los Angeles, California School Employees Association, Los Angeles County Building and Construction Trades Council, Los Angeles School Police Association, Los Angeles School Police Management Association, Service Employees International Union, SEIU Local 99, Teamsters, United Teachers Los Angeles, and District Represented Employees and Contract Management Personnel. The negotiator for those organizations for the district is Dr. Murphy. And the negotiator for the following positions, unrepresented employees, is Ms. Navarra Reed. So that's for the Chief Procurement Officer, Director of Facilities Project Execution, and Director of Budget Services and Financial Planning. So all those items to be discussed in closed session. And now we'll go to item-specific comment under Tab 1, Student Discipline Matters. Ms. Franco, are you here? Ms. Franco? Check online to see if she's joined us via Zoom as an alternative. Do not have her there. All right, under Tab 3, Pending Litigation, we have 2 folks. Let's see, we have Taisha Jackson-Wise. Are you here in person, Taisha? Not have her online. And then we have someone listed as calling in, a 20-year LAUSD educator. 20-year, I see you're online. Please press *6 to unmute yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. I see you've unmuted.
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Hi, yes, the floor is yours. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I have 3 issues today. The first one, I have been applying for a religious exemption. I need to continue to educate remotely. It's important to me. It's due to the aftermath of the mandate, which you took away, thank you. It has to do with shedding. So I've sequestered myself very much so throughout the last 5 years. It's been quite sad. Some good opportunities to give some joy at home, though, to students. Shedding is real, and I don't want that around my body for religious reasons. I don't want any sort of DNA change, which could possibly happen. And now a formal study has been released. While I have been gaslit for over a year, while I have been trying to tell people about this, a formal scientific study has been released that can match my religious reasons. It says women with little close contact with vaccinated people saw no change. One of the authors of the study wrote, after more than a year of censorship from the medical journals, our landmark study and manuscript has been published, demonstrating significant circumstantial evidence that something is being shed from the COVID-19 vaccinated population to the unvaccinated population. So at this point, I have no work that I can do. It's been making me very sad, and I cannot possibly sustain myself like this. So I'm asking you to please speak to the Sincerely Held Religious Belief Committee and allow me to continue teaching remotely, which I've been doing for 4.5 years. My name is on the card. I'm keeping anonymous for good reasons for today. I have been with you for 20 years. The next
Thank you very
item
much for your time.
quickly
We appreciate your time.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Mr. David Tokovsky, please come on down. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin.
For the record, I'll be speaking on item 4, which is conference with labor negotiators. Underpinning all labor negotiations discussion is the budget. And as you know, the governor has already put a budget in January that includes a 2.5% cost of living adjustment. As you work towards a revision of the budget in May, and hopefully you have as a team of 8 items that you would like to put together for increasing the state budget as revenues continue to climb, as the stock market continues to grow. And also, as you present the budget along the way, as Ms. Goldberg did in the past, it would be very advisable to bring the governor's office. They're right here on Broadway at the Department of Finance State Office Building. They can come and present the governor's budget to you, as well as your district staff. The legislative analyst as well has put out some documents that I know Mr. Salcido is always familiar with. They could be here as well to present. Members of the California School Board Association put together reviews of the budget. You could have that presented, and all of this gathers the knowledge and the information, as well as organizations like California Teachers Association, who will be giving their member organizations what they see as the budget. You cannot just simply rely upon the status quo of hearing from Simpson and Simpson, as I used to call them at the board, the Simpsons, who've had over 20 years of being the outside auditor, who just do a minimal compliance budget. You have certified 3 years of a balanced budget, positive, not qualified, but positive, and therefore you have set the good standard compared to other districts that are having troubles. But you need to also bring in other information. You can't continue to say the governor's budget is a lie, the governor is a liar. This information that he's put out is not accurate. Bring him forward. Also present your liabilities from the Doe cases that you will hear today to issues of liabilities on the arts and other things, and have a public discussion of your liabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Okay, now we'll go on to general public comment. Deanna Guillen, are you here? Deanna Guillen, I think I saw you out there. Ms. Guillen? All right, Ms. Guillen is going to speak in Spanish, so if you'd like to hear what she's going to say in English as she's speaking in Spanish, please put your hands up and we'll get you these simultaneous translation headsets. You simply put them on and then they activate and should be at an acceptable volume. But the volume you can adjust on the dial that's located on the bulk of the device. Okay, listos. Thank you.
Ready? Buenos días. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Deanna Guillen. I'm part of the Network of Parents for School Safety. We see that you all spoke about how you're very concerned because the students are leaving the schools, and obviously as parents, we're also concerned for their safety. But we think it's very hypocritical of you all that you worry about what's going outside when all the incidents and fights and all the violence and all the different weapons that are happening inside the schools. You should be worried about what happens inside the schools. I'm glad you're having this communication about how you're concerned, but your job is to make sure that the schools are safe and that our kids are safe. Since you took away the school police, that's why the students, there is no rule of law in the schools. Whoever wants to do whatever they want, and no one's responsible. If something happened, you already washed your hands because you left, and you're giving the students that power. When the job of the students is being in the school where we drop them off, supposedly safe. Another thing I want to say is that there's a lot of organizations that are putting young people where they're telling them, today you have the right to protest. Today you have the right to leave, when it's adults that should be the ones guiding them. And yeah, it's great that you're protesting because it's a difficult situation that's happening in our immigrant community. But how is it possible that you put them at risk? How is it possible that you're having them go about this anarchy? That to us is something that cannot be supported. Also, I'd like to say that we know that supposedly Mr. Buettner, the superintendent, they're saying that they sued Mr. Carvalho, but what can say Mr. Buettner if he didn't do anything for the students? This person should better silence themselves because us parents never received anything. He didn't improve education, and you have a big problem when it comes to fund management. This is not transparent, and all these different
Niños tienen que seguir pagando por estas
battles
demandas porque son
are
la
giving
educación
way
de
for our
tus hijos lo que
children
está
paying
pagando.
for everything that's happening, and we want the results of the iReady
Thank you very
exam.
much for your time.
That's what UTLA does not want to come out. We want the results of those
Thank you.
tests. Thank you.
All right, Maria Luisa Palma, I see you're here now. Come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin.
Good morning. Life is a gift, as is love. Mothers and fathers, the parents, are the creators, the protectors of that life, of that gift of love. The parents advocate for the safety of their children, as does the community on their behalf. I bring you today these symbols of life, of love, of nurture. These are living things. Let their beauty remind you of the miracle of their existence, the fragility that they have if they're not nurtured. Reminder of the trust that the parents place in you when they drop off their children at school. A reminder of your duty to protect them, to educate them. A reminder of your responsibility and the vigilance you must never cease to have when they are in your care. Because children are here to be educated on what they need, not on what they want. And it's with great, great sadness that we recognize that as parents and the community, you won't be straight with us. You won't provide the data on the safety incidents. You won't admit the great mistakes that have been made here in this boardroom with all of your policies, which conspire together to degrade the safety of our communities, the sanctity of family, the role of parents, the control of parents in their children's education. Instead, you allow the teachers' union to run this school district. They're here as a teachers' union to advocate for their members, not for the community. And Ms. Cecily Cruz, our children are not your babies. They are our children, our families, our communities. UTLA does not get to decide how our schools are run. That is for the families, for the parents, for the communities, not for UTLA to do it in the family's name. It is for the family's direct voices. Will you listen to those voices? This is a month of love. I want to express to you and remind you the love that parents have for their children. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Ray Belisle, are you here? Ray, come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. Yeah, that's all yours. Yeah.
Make us one, LAUSD. Item 1, declining enrollment at host schools like Crenshaw due to illness, injuries, homelessness, and fear contribute to student absenteeism. Virtual academies also cause decline. Resolve, LAUSD should adopt a hybrid model. Hybrid learning offers instructional consistency and services tailored to each student's needs. Item 2, co-located schools. Crenshaw's budgetary funding is insufficient to service co-located schools for maintenance and safety. Crenshaw has Tier 3 students and 3 virtual academies that LAUSD does not include in Crenshaw's funding, which is calculated using Crenshaw's student population. Crenshaw's administrators are forced to manage the entire campus, and because of funding, students are restricted to certain wings. Virtual academy teachers are entitled guests, always making front desk complaints, obliviously walking through students. They wouldn't even stop if a student were to burst into flames. Resolve, since Crenshaw is treated like the Hilton already, these schools should pay to stay. Let co-located teachers wear ID badges, let all students count, and funding centralized so more campus aides can be hired to protect the entire campus. Let host schools operate as universities do, one entity offering consistent quality education with multiple opportunities to succeed. Unify us, make us one.
Thank you for your time. Steve Barr, come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. And after Mr. Barr is Mara Simmons, and then Jenna Noyes, and then Juan Magandi. So please, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, trustees and Superintendent Cavallo. I'm speaking towards item 21, which I've asked the charter office to pause for a month, and I haven't heard back from them, but we assume it's paused for a month. But yes, 2 days ago, I drove around, trying not to be a looky-loo, but went to Altadena to hang out with a couple of kids I used to mentor in Venice years ago who have a business there, Pizza of Venice, and they're trying to rebuild. I don't know if Mr. Melvoin's ever tasted that great pizza. But it takes you right down to the roots when you go, and I know the superintendent and the board members, and you've seen the devastation. It doesn't do service watching it on TV. And the first thing I think about, because I have a one-track mind right now, is who's going to rebuild these areas. We have a very huge shortage right now. Before we passed a bond to rebuild some of our schools, and before this disaster hit us, we had a shortage of tradespeople, which brought me to people over at IBW to talk about how we can create a CTE program within the district to build an army. We need an army right now, and we have to come together on this stuff. It's all hands on deck. We got to get out of our silos. Just for some of the board members who are new to this, this was a school that was a challenge from the then board president Goldberg to do affiliates, and this was an affiliate model. The superintendent's office sent over an MOU that we'd work on this for a year and open a school together with an affiliated model. It was pretty much ignored for the last year. And we like to revive. I know a lot of people have a lot of work and a lot of issues you're dealing with, and I can't even imagine what your days are like. But we need to come together on this stuff. We have to rise to the occasion and rise to the times we live in. 120,000 people don't have homes. A lot of businesses have closed, and we've got to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Mara Simmons, come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin.
Good morning. I'm speaking really on behalf of the solar panel, items 4 and 5, coming up on your agenda. In that, on page 3 of tab 4, file number 166-2425, it states student impact. And as a former administrator, former teacher, I know firsthand the impact construction has on a school site. But what I've learned in my recent history is the importance of building bridges to those workers and what's happening. And so part of student impact is once it's completed, these projects are supposed to inspire and encourage project-based learning and educational programs beyond. Students are supposed to look up and see the rooftops and see that solar panel is being produced. But what happens is they're just there. Nothing actually happens. So I'm encouraging you to take student impact and put it at the forefront and really think strategically about how do you bridge the working and the work being done to student projects, to the learning, and make it real life. And that brings me to Future is Now CTE Prep, the school that Steve Barr just spoke about. We are positioning ourselves to become a model for the school district to use to really take that type of learning and make it actionable, make it something that that bridges the career pathways for students and serves the community. So student impact is very important to those very big contracts, and I'm asking that you really put it at the forefront to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Jenna Noyes, are you here? Come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin.
All right, good morning. Assembly Bill 68, introduced by Assemblymember Bill S.A. Lee, mandates that every school district and charter in California hire or contract at least one armed SRO. In light of the alarming rise in school-related violence across the nation, this measure is not just necessary, it's essential. So we can't afford to continue allowing our schools to be seen as soft targets. AB 68 is a strong step toward ensuring the safety of our students, offering parents peace of mind knowing their child is protected while they're learning. However, I must ask, does it really take an assembly member to make a difference at having school safety be priority? Shouldn't this be something we have already prioritized at state and community? We need school police back to protect our children from the dangers of illegal substances, violence, and physical aggression. During my time as a teacher, my role wasn't just to educate students, but to ensure their parents understood their rights. I made it a point to advocate for them, ensuring we work together with advocates, lawyers, and administrators to create the best outcomes for the students. It saddens me that despite countless parents voicing the need for safety, we are not seeing tangible change. So I'm advocating for an environment where students can learn in safety, not one where they have to evacuate their classrooms due to crisis. The decision to remove school police across LAUSD was, in my view, a poor one. The district failed to account for the diverse needs of the various regions. How can a one-size-fits-all approach be appropriate when the needs of the different communities are so varied? So what is the point of regional autonomy if we cannot make decisions that reflect these unique needs? As a parent and former special ed teacher, I've always been an advocate for the safety and well-being of students. As a member of the PTA, the largest child advocacy association in America, I'm proud to stand by their motto, positively impacting the lives of all children, families, and youth. Protecting students is paramount. So on behalf of the 31st District PTSA, which is what I'm involved in, I proudly present their official letter of support for the return of campus police. Thank you for your time. And there's 8 copies for everybody.
Thank you. I'll come get
Thank
those in
you.
a moment.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Juan Magandi, I think I saw you here. There you are. Come on up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. Once you begin, Mr. Magandi is going to speak in Spanish, so if you'd like to hear what he's saying in English, please put your hands up and we'll get you these headsets. They activate once you put them on, and then you can adjust the volume on the body of the device. Okay, Mr. Magandi, floor is yours.
Buenos días.
Good morning. I want to welcome, this is a habit, the month of hypocrisy. This is what we're doing. The hypocrisy, more than anything, is completely in the reality of what we are, because we now see that the ducks are being shot at, and here comes the superintendent, and he's a hypocrite. He's manipulating a woman that doesn't even have children at the district to ask Mr. Carvalho and all of you, because you're fraudulent. And you had an art program that was a disaster when this is all you do at the district. We can hear this clearly in the discussions. We have the same mediocre people that have a mediocre education. How is it possible, Mr. Carvalho? And we can give testimony as why the lady is acting in this way that is demanding, and the interests that are behind it. We don't know. We know how many of you have received funds from UTLA, how many of you have received so that you can give back because of the privileges that they've given you. And they are asking for us to measure the results of the teachers because they are the ones who have brought iReady. The results are showing that the only thing that you are interested in are the ones who are being financed from UTLA. You're interested in the funds and the money, you're privileged, but you don't care about the community. You don't care about the children because they are falsely hypocrites. And they come here and they show a face as you pretend to show that you care, but all you care about is privilege. And look at our community. How many of our children can't live in South Central because there are smells of marijuana gangs? And what are you doing to take care of the schools? And you know what the measure is? Let's remove school police. Therefore, I want to know if one day Ms. Rosia, Ms. Griego can come with me. Let's go to walk the schools together. Let's see if they respect us. I invite you both.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you. Okay, the next person to speak in person is, let's see, Gypsy Vasquez Ayala. Are you here, Gypsy? Sale Torres, are you here? Sale? Peter Watts. Peter Watts, are you here? Let me see if these folks are here online with us. No. Okay, now I'm going to transition to calling the folks who listed themselves as speaking remotely. All right, so we have Maria Daisy Ortiz on the line. Maria Daisy Ortiz, please press *6 to unmute yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. Maria Daisy Ortiz.
Buenos días, ¿me
Good
escuchan?
morning.
Sí, se escucha.
Good morning to all. My name is Maria Daisy Ortiz. And first and foremost, I will start with the very important phrase that you've came up with. We are one. We're not sheeps. We're not dumb. It's just because you can't continue with the sentence. Well, first of all, I said this to say that us as parents, we need to be associates. But for you, associates, you don't know what an associate is. Or is it that you are dirty people, which is something different than being an associate? Mr. Scott, you having the presidency and on this board, I think you should make a difference when it has to do with parent involvement and effectiveness. And this means that the at the schools, you should have a committee of low income, and because now the schools, they made budgets without consulting with parents. They haven't had annual meetings from Title I, and all these practices at the schools are not being held. And you will have a recession from the state in which you will start to fabricate everything to look beautiful. Therefore, we need to start to make a difference and make sure that parents are authentic associates consulting about the budget and about the results. Because if not, our children are the ones who are left behind. And yes, I agree with all the previous speakers, the parents that are there advocating. We have been here. We have always asked for transparency within the budgets, and more than anything when it has to do with parent involvement. At the schools, they make conference and they say they will send parents at conference, and they don't do that. Make a study to see how many schools send parents to conferences. They don't do that. Besides that, they don't give them funds to spend. If they don't tell them go to the conference and bring the reimbursement, we are talking about low-income parents. And for this is what the money is being sent, so that parents can go to conference and so that they can have a better education within governmental practices and state practices. And this is why the
You're signed up to speak remotely, but I do not have you online in front of me. Are you in the room, Raquel Diaz? Araceli Cabrera? You're signed up to speak remotely, but I do not see you in the room. Araceli? Erlinda Morita? You're also signed up to speak remotely, but I do not have you online in front of me. Are you in the room? That's a no. Maria Duran, I see you're online. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. Maria Duran.
Bueno,
Bueno, ¿se escucha?
sí, ¿me escucha?
Sí.
Okay, buenos días.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Duran. And well, here there is, in the schools, there's a lot of difficulty with safety, which we are seeing students that is in our middle school and high school, where we have family members, friends who have been affected by our students, just like students with a disability that have an IEP, where they are being treated by the school personnel, the teachers, and they are being bullied. And unfortunately, this is bad because we do not know, as parents, who is supervising, who is the one supporting our students. And on different occasions in schools, there's drugs being used, the bathrooms are not being supervised, and that is so important that there is safety, that the police is in schools. Now, about what is for schools, Title I schools, they're not being carried out as what you have given us as a policy, and that is concerning because for budgets, they do ask for us parents to be in attendance. But why? Why? So that everything we say agree to, even though in schools we have asked as parents, why isn't the school plan being carried out? There's missing goals to achieve, and we don't get the information as parents, and we don't know. And that is unfortunately what we're going through in schools. Schools are not full within the committees. It is the same parents that the principal want them to be there, and that is not okay. A lot of parents have these types of conflicts. Why? Because there are parents that prefer to be on the side of the principal. I don't know what they gain with that and why they're there. Sometimes as parents, we follow the law, we ask for policy, we ask for everything. Bulletins, thank you.
You in the room, John Aquino? And Melissa Palacios, are you in the room? Melissa Palacios? And we have Channing Martinez speaking remotely. Channing Martinez, I see you're on the line. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. Mr. Channing Martinez.
Grand Rising. Before I start my public comment, just I don't know if you guys know, but the Spanish is not being translated over the phone into English. Anyways, my name is Channing Martinez, co-director of the Strategy Center and a member of the Police Free Schools National Coalition, as well as the Black Student Achievement Steering Committee. This morning I was just looking at your motion around how to address ICE, and I'm thoroughly impressed at the level of detail that the district has gone through to protect our students. Obviously, there's some students I work with that think that you can be doing more, including not allowing ICE on campus, even if they do have a warrant. But the fact that there is a whole motion and protocol to address it, I think is super important. But it does make me think about what is the district's role, what is the district's policy in addressing racial terrorism against Black students. Obviously, you know that there was a terrible incident that happened at Lawrence Middle School against a Black student. And there is going to be a rise of incidents happening. And I and many other folks in the city have been calling on LUSD to dedicate and draft an actual policy of how to address those harms. And I think you know that many parents have and students have experienced a lot of racial terrorism against them, and it stopped at the administration of the specific school. I, when Dr. Dupree was the head of the Black Student Achievement Program, he began starting to address some of those situations and then left for I don't know what reasons. And I do think that this is the time that LAUSD has to sit down with the Black Student Achievement Steering Committee, with Black parents, with Black students, and with Black folks to really draft out what happens when there is an incident of racial terrorism against Black students. And it cannot just simply be call the LA School Police that has spent the last 25 years going after Black students. It cannot be using this laser app, which is quite honestly a human rights violation against students that really causes turn students.
Thank you
into
very
their
much for
own
your time,
police.
Mr. Martinez. Thank you for your time. Okay, we have some folks who showed up to speak to tabs. They showed up a little bit late. Miss Taisha Jackson-Wise is on the line. Taisha Jackson-Wise, please press *6 to unmute yourself, and you have 2 minutes to speak once you begin. Taisha Jackson-Wise on tab 3, Conference with Legal Counsel.
Hi, my name is Taisha Jackson-Wise, and to reiterate what the previous speaker said, my son has also experienced racial terrorism at his current school, and the administration and the Office of Student Civil Rights have not been responsive. This incident took place in December of 2024, and I'm still advocating for my child. And also, I was unaware of the policies with regard to when LAUSD school police is involved. Apparently, they are allowed to speak to students without a parent being notified or without any adult present. And I don't think that that is right. And I also have been requesting policies and procedures from LAUSD Region West and from the superintendent's office with regard to how they operate, and I have not gotten that information as of yet. So I'm on this call to figure out who I need to speak to or what I need to do to get the requested information that should be covered under the Freedom of Information Act, as well as the policies for how LAUSD handles civil rights violations of students. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And then I believe Ms. Franco, you arrived late to tab 1. Is Ms. Carla Franco here? ¿Usted va a hablar en español o inglés?
Español.
Okay. Ms. Franco is going to speak in Spanish, so if you'd like to hear what she's saying in English, please put your hands up to get a headset. If not, okay, listos, gracias.
Buenos días a todos. Buenos
Good
días.
morning, everybody. Good morning, Superintendent. I am here to give testimony or bear witness of the great effort that has been done at Southgate High School and the importance of having the school police in our schools. The students said that they feel targeted, that they feel attacked, that they're always going to arrest them. And I bring you the testimony or bear witness that the officer that is going to our school, the students feel safe. The campus is safe. The environment has changed positively, and I think you can note it. And I think Mr. Carvalho can too. And I would, fight almost with Mr. Carvalho. Now you can see it in my face, how happy the environment feels in harmony. And that is what I want for all schools, not just for Southgate High School, because for me, my interest is all students at the LAUSD level. Ms. Carla Griego, when I spoke to you during your campaign and I told you about the importance of safety, you said that you would have a plan that has not been implemented, we have not seen, and the only thing that we have seen is failure. And the only ones that pay the consequences is our students and us as parents, because who suffer the most is us. And when we come here, we're problem parents. And so yesterday we had coffee with the principal. Our community is asking when you are going to present the team that will be supporting you there, so that you can also support us as parents in our communities and our schools. When Jackie Goldberg, that she already left, she presented her team, those that would be in the offices in our communities, because we cannot all come here to bring complaints. So I ask you, as you know, with courtesy, to look for a time and to go visit our schools and not just seek us out when you want a vote. Thank you. Mr. Carvalho, I sent you a very important email, and I hope that you are able to see it and able to answer. The Army wants to
Thank you very
sit down
much
with
for
you
your time.
because they want to bring budget.
Thank you for your time. Okay, that concludes item-specific and general public comment. The board will now recess into closed session. The time is 9:44. Thank you so much for your patience, everybody. We're going to finish up the 9 a.m. meeting, so we're going to bring it in. I'm going to report out at what happened, and then we're going to adjourn that meeting, and then like 1 minute later, open up the 1 p.m. meeting, which will be starting at about 1:52. So I appreciate your patience and understanding for our process. Okay, welcome back. The time is now 1:49 p.m. on Tuesday, February 11th. We are reconvening the 9 a.m. meeting, including closed session items. All 7 members were present in closed session. I'm going to take roll right now. Ms. Newbill.
Present.
Dr. Rivas.
Present.
Mr. Melvoin.
Here.
Ms. Griego. I know Ms. Griego is here. Ms. Gomez.
Here.
Ms. Ortiz-Franklin. Could I get you to say that one more time, Ms. Ortiz-Franklin?
Oh, sorry, present.
Okay, there we are. Ms. Ortiz-Franklin is remote, and Board President Schmerlson.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. I'm going to report out the items that the board took action on in closed session. Under tab 1, student discipline, the Board of Education approved the expulsion of students in case numbers 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, with the recommended dispositions, and the Board of Education approved the conditional enrollment of the student in case number 16A. The vote in both categories was 7 ayes. Under tab 2, personnel, public employee discipline, dismissal, or release. The Board of Education authorized the dismissal of 4 classified and 1 certificated employee. The vote was 7 ayes. The Board of Education further approved the non-reelection 45 certificated probationary employees. The vote was 7 ayes. Under public employment, the Board of Education did not appoint a chief procurement officer. The vote was 3 ayes, Mr. Melvoin, Ms. Gomez, Ms. Ortiz, Franklin. 4 noes, Ms. Newbill, Dr. Rivas, Ms. Griego, and Board President Schmerlson. The Board of Education appointed Edward Cadena to the position of Director of Facilities Project Execution with the term beginning on March 12, 2025 and ending on June 30th, 2026. Terms and conditions will be available upon the finalization of the agreement. The vote was 5 ayes. Mr. Melvoin, Ms. Griego, Ms. Gomez, Ms. Ortiz-Franklin, and Board President Schmerlson. 1 no by Ms. Newbill and 1 abstention by Dr. Rivas. Board of Education appointed Nirupama Jayaraman to the position of Director of Budget Services and Financial Planning with the term beginning on March 12, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026. Terms and conditions will be available upon finalization of the agreement. The vote was 4 ayes, Mr. Melvoin, Ms. Gomez, Ms. Ortiz-Franklin, and Board President Schmerlson, and 1 no by Ms. Newbill and 2 abstentions, Dr. Rivas and Ms. Griego. Under tab 3, conference with legal counsel. Pending litigation, the Board of Education authorized a settlement in the case of John Doe v. LAUSD. Terms and conditions will be available upon the finalization of the agreement. The vote was 7 ayes. The Board of Education authorized a settlement in the case of John Doe RJ v. LAUSD et al. The terms and conditions will be available upon the finalization of the agreement. The vote was 6 ayes and 1 no by Ms. Gomez. The Board of Education authorized the settlement in the case of Kristen Mitchell v. LAUSD. Terms and conditions will be available upon the finalization of the agreement. The vote was 7 ayes. That concludes the reporting out. The time is now 1:52. We're going to close this meeting officially by adjourning in this moment, and then we'll reopen in just a few minutes for the 1 p.m. meeting. Thank you.